Hey everybody, welcome to the real United States. Welcome to the town of Shenandoah in western Virginia. We are literally on the floor of what is the Shenandoah Valley, right here on the banks of the Shenandoah River. And you see the mountains off in the distance behind me perhaps. Well, those are the Blue Ridge Mountains. So when you hear the word valley, it conjures an image, at least for me, of, a valley, something that you can stand on a mountain and you can take in one view. Well, the Shenandoah Valley, as it turns out, you can't do that with. The Shenandoah Valley is actually 7,000 square miles between the Blue Ridge Mountains on the eastern edge to the Alleghenies on the west, running from somewhere in southern Virginia all the way up into southern Pennsylvania, with the Shenandoah River here running right in the bottom of the valley. So is it a huge expanse of land and very fertile land. So in the colonial period of our country, this was a very important part of the development of our nation because the fertility of land allowed for agriculture to produce a lot of goods for the country. Now, when it was founded, one of the reasons that land grants were given here in large parcels was people would start farming, would start building communities, have other people come in, and it was acting as a buffer between the Native Americans here in Virginia at the time and the rest of the colony of Virginia off to the east of us. So getting a large land grant, while very lucrative and very nice, did present some hazards for the owner. Be that as it may, this area turned out to be very rich in the production of cattle and corn and oats and wheat and all sorts of things, and tobacco, of course, because Virginia was a tobacco state. So today this is still a very rural area here around the town of Shenandoah. You can look that up on a map. We're about, halfway north-south in the state, perhaps, maybe not quite that far south, but about on the very western edge of the state. And it's still a very rural area, still a lot of agriculture here. Bev and I have seen a lot of cattle coming in here and an enormous amount of corn growing here. So it is still a huge agricultural production area for this part of the country. So this is the Means Bottom Bridge. It is a 240-foot long covered bridge. Now, it's not an antique. This has been rebuilt about 4 times through history, and most recently, I understand, in the 1970s after it was a victim of arson. However, this was built in the Civil War era again, originally, and this bridge crosses the Shenandoah River. Now, there are a couple of important things about it. But first of all is the fact that at 240 feet, it is the longest covered bridge in existence in the state of Virginia. And the other thing that's significant about this is its construction technique. This bridge construction style is called a burr truss. Now, the burr truss involves multiple king posts and this large arch that you see that's designed to carry the main load of the bridge. Now, it's named for its inventor, Theodore Burr. Well, Theodore Burr, as it turns out, is the brother of then Vice President Aaron Burr. Now, you may remember Aaron Burr as the vice president under Thomas Jefferson, who ended his political career rather abruptly when he shot Alexander Hamilton, then Secretary of the Treasury. Well, anyway, the vice president's brother, Theodore Burr, is the gentleman that invented this style of engineering for bridges in the era to carry the load and to give the structure over it integrity with the multiple king posts. Now, this is the Shenandoah River where the Means Bottom Bridge crosses it. Again, the Means was the family that owned a huge tract of land in this area. I think it was something like 32,000 acres at the time. And that's where the name comes from. Bottom, of course, being the bottom of the Shenandoah Valley. And that's why this bridge is called the Means Bottom Bridge. Now, you see here that the Shenandoah River is actually running pretty strong today because we've had some rain recently, and so the water's up. This is the main watershed for the entire area. So anytime we get any significant amount of rain, it's going to really be up. And there's a lot of rapids. People are coming down, they're launching their kayaks, having a good time because it's a beautiful sunny Sunday here. So the Shenandoah River actually is one of the few rivers in the United States that runs south to north. Most of the rivers here actually run north to south. For some reason, because of the geography here, the geology, the river runs from south to north. And it is one of the larger rivers that does that. Of course, the St. Johns River in Florida, I believe, is actually the largest, but the Shenandoah is one of the larger ones. And it runs from southern Virginia up to where it spills into the Potomac River at Harper's Ferry. Now you can see here, this is the South Fork of the Shenandoah River, and it's relatively slow moving, wide and deep here. But as it moves along, it'll pick up speed in certain places, become very rocky, shallower. It has a lot of character, and it wangles back and forth through the mountains in a very serpentine pattern. It's a gorgeous river, but again, one of the largest south to north running rivers in the United States, and it runs right here in the bottom of the Shenandoah Valley. So as you can see, the Shenandoah Valley, the floor of the valley, is still a huge agricultural area. This, in fact, is corn growing here behind me. It's mid-July right now when we're filming this. And you can see the mountains in the back. And you can imagine, like I said, there's 7,000 square miles that make up the Shenandoah Valley. So it's not a valley in the conventional sense that you think of, like you're standing on a mountain, there's another mountain, you see a valley between them. No, it is a huge, huge area between two major mountain ranges. Now, obviously, it's cut up into little, off pieces that go through each of the individual mountain ranges and duck back into them. But as you can see, the mountains here, these are the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're not actually near the Alleghenies right now, and we stretch around. This is where the valley runs north-south. As I said, the Shenandoah River runs towards the north. And as you swing around, there's another ridge of the mountains here on the other side of us. So it's an amazingly large area. You hear Shenandoah Valley, and it's not, you can't really grasp the magnitude of it. But it's still, like I say, a very important agricultural area here in the United States to this day. and a truly beautiful place. Now off here in the other side of us is a stretch of road which is in Shenandoah National Park, and it's called Skyline Drive, and it literally is a 2-lane highway that runs right along the crest of the mountains for miles and miles and miles. And it has a lot of pull-offs where you can turn and there's scenic views. And many people come from all over the country, indeed all over the world, especially in the fall to see the fall colors. But all year long they come to drive along Skyline Drive and see the magnificent vistas that are available from the Blue Ridge Mountains into the Shenandoah Valley. So I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Real United States. I hope you've enjoyed this visit to Western Virginia, to the Shenandoah Valley and the Shenandoah River. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We love hearing from all of you. I try to get back to everybody I can. If you haven't already, please pick subscribe. Come along for the adventure. We love having everybody with us. And as always, thank you for watching.